Good evening, 4-3. Tonight we're going to start with Lesson 9. Use place value understanding to round multi-digit numbers to any place value. All right, so tonight we're going to round to the nearest 1,000. And we are going to try to do this without using a number line. Okay, so tonight we're going to look at letter C. And I'm going to write this down here, 16,051. And I can't stress this enough. We really need to memorize this place value chart. That is very important for us. We need to know the different places that the number is in, the value of each one. So if I put this into our place value chart, there's 1 ones, there are 5 tens, there are no hundreds, there are 6 thousands, and there's 1 10,000s. So the 6 is in the thousands place. So we are going to round to the nearest thousands place, this 6. And if we were just going to create that number line, we're not really just going to set it up so perfectly, but if I was just going to create this number line, this vertical number line, I would need to know that I need to put this 6 down here. So it's going to be starting down here with 16,000. Because we leave the 1 alone, we're not focusing on this, we're focusing on the thousands place. And everything always to the right over here is just going to turn zeros. So we're starting with 16,000. And if we're going to go up here, what are we going to put there? Well, we know if we're focusing on the 6,000s, near the 6,000, we're going to go up 1 to another 1,000. That would give us 17,000. So when we look at this number right here, 16,051, we need to say to ourselves, is it closer to 16,000 or is it closer to 17,000? Instead of having you create that midpoint, we wouldn't want to have to do that. We would want you just to look at 16,051 and ask yourself, which one is it closer to, 16,000 or 17,000? And remember, we're going to look at that hundreds place, and it's that magic number 5. If it's 5 or higher, or it's lower than 5, like 4 and lower, then this number will change. So if it's a 5, it's going to go up. If it's less than 5, it's going to go down. So this number, 16,051, is closer to 16,000. Okay, so the next problem we're going to look at is letter D. And we need to know where is the thousands place. So let's place this in our number line, our place value chart. There's 1 1, there are 2 tens, there are 4 hundreds, there are 6 thousands, there are no 10,000s, and there is a 700,000s. So let's write this out. 706,421. The 6 is in the thousands place. So if we wanted to create that vertical number line, we would know that we would have to focus on the thousands place, the 6,000. So what is the lowest number that we're going to start with? Remember, this stays the same, but all these turn to zeros. So this starts with 706,000. But since we're focusing on the thousands place, what's going up another 1,000? It will give us 707,000. And again, instead of just having to write that midpoint, let's think about 706,421 is closer to 706,000 or 707,000. Now look at this stuff, these numbers next to it, the 421. We're locating that hundreds. That is telling us where we're closer to. Remember that magic number 5. This number, 706,421, because of here, is telling us that we are closer to 706,000. Okay, our next one that we're going to focus on is letter A, 6,842. And let's put this in our place value chart. We have 2 1s, we have 4 10s, we have 8 hundreds, and we have 6 thousandths. And I'm going to create that vertical number line and label our lowest point to our highest point. And since we're focusing on the nearest thousands, this is the place that matters the most to us. So we know that we can start with 6,000, that's the lowest we can go, and one more thousand would bring us to 7,000. Now, instead of having to create that midpoint, we are going to look at the hundredth spot, this stuff right here. This is going to determine if we're closer to 7,000 and 6,000. This 8 is above that magic number 5. So this is telling us that we are closer to 7,000. All right, so now we're going to focus on letter C. And this number is 789,091. And it's asking us to round this to the nearest 10,000. So instead of having to put up the place value chart, because we really need to be memorizing those places, we know that this is the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands. This is the 10,000ths. So this is the number that matters the most. And if we were going to draw that vertical number line, again, we want to have this in our minds. We don't have to write this every time. We want to have our lowest point and our highest point. Our lowest point, since this is the number that matters, we're going to have 780,000 is the number that we can go lowest to. And the highest we can round to would be the next 10,000, which would bring us to 790,000. So now we need to locate this 9,091, this stuff right here. Because of this, where does it bring us closer to? Does it bring us closer to 790,000 or 780,000? Look at that 9, magic number 5. This is tough. This stuff is telling us that we are closer to 790,000. Okay, our next letter we're going to look at tonight is letter D. 905,154. And now think of that place value chart in your head, and let's name each spot. This is the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, the 10,000s, and the 100,000s. But we are rounding to the nearest 10,000s. So let's locate. Here is the 10,000s, the 0. Okay, so we kind of visualize that vertical number line. The lowest we can go, so this number is going to start with 900,000, and if we go up another 10,000, it would bring us to 910,000, because this is the 10,000s place. So if we focus on this information here, 5,154, because of this part of this number, is it closer to 900,000 or 910,000? And it's closer to 910,000 due to this 5 and above. All right, now here's our word problem. At the President Obama's inauguration in 2013, the newspaper headline stated that there were about 800,000 people in attendance. If the newspaper rounded to the nearest 100,000, what is the largest number and the smallest number of people that could have been there? Well, let's look at that. Let's create that vertical number line that we have been so used to doing. And the number that was rounded was 800,000. All right? So if we place the other numbers on this number line, the next 100,000 we would have would be 900,000. And the lowest 100,000 that we would be able to go would be 700,000. Because this number falls in between those two numbers. So let's start a number. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's say if we say 710,000. Is this located more to 700,000 or 800,000? Yes, 710,000 is more closest to 700,000. So that won't work. So where can I put this number that we would know? We can place this on the number line. If we bring it up from 710,000, because we know 710,000 is closest to 700,000. So where can I move this to slowly make my way up to 800,000? Where can I place it that would be rounded to 800,000? I'm thinking right about here. So this becomes our midway point. This right here is our midway point. And our midway point is telling us that once we get to the midway point, we're going to be rounding up. So our midway point would be 750,000. If I added another 50,000 to this, would bring me to 800,000. So the same thing goes from the top. Here's our midway point. Our midway point is going to be 850,000. So anything going up is going to be rounded to 900,000. Anything lower than 850,000 is going to bring us to 800,000. So 850,000, if we actually started from there, that would bring us up to 900,000. So we really can't say that is the number that's going to bring us to 800,000. The real number that's going to bring us as close as to close to 800,000 would be 849,999. That would bring us to 800,000. So let's go back to the problem. The largest number that we could have from this word problem and from this information that we got from this vertical number line, the largest number we could have would be right here, 849,999, because that would bring us to 800,000. And the smallest number would be right here, 750,000, because rounding that's the lowest we could go in order to get us to 800,000. All right, 4-3, now you give it a try. Okay, I'd like you to try letter A. 6,842 to the nearest 1,000. Okay, the next one I'd like you to try is letter C. 16,051, rounded to the nearest 1,000. What are you going to get there? All right, I'd like you to try this one. 88,999 to the nearest 10,000. Letter A. Try that one. Okay, the next one I'd like you to try is letter C. 789,091 to the nearest 10,000. Now I'd like you to try this word problem. Remember the one that we did together before? At President Bush's inauguration, 2005, the newspaper headline stated there were about 400,000 people in attendance. If the newspaper rounded to the nearest 10,000, what is the largest number and the smallest number of people who could have been there? So there is going to be two answers for this one, just like we did before with President Obama. Okay? The largest and the smallest. Okay, guys, excellent job tonight. We'll practice this skill more tomorrow. Have a wonderful night.